The movie starts off with Tim Lake, a lanky, awkward, and slightly sunburnt young man, introducing us to his peculiar but loving family in their cozy home in Cornwall, England. His mother is practical and unsentimental. His father, James, is a retired professor who spends his days reading and playing endless rounds of table tennis. His uncle, Desmond, is delightfully eccentric, and his sister, Kit Kat, is a free spirit who marches to the beat of her own drum. Life in Cornwall is simple, filled with laughter, beach outings, and warm family gatherings. But everything is about to change for Tim in ways he never imagined. One fateful New Year's Eve, the Lakes throw a party, and as expected, chaos ensues. Tim and his best mate Jay stumble into a table, sending drinks flying. Kit Kat, ever the wild child, finds herself wrapped up with a charming but questionable guy named Jimmy Kincaid, while Tim, despite his best efforts, botches a potential romantic moment when a beautiful blonde leans in to kiss him at midnight. He awkwardly shakes her hand instead. Classic Tim. The morning after, Tim's dad calls him into the den with a cup of tea and a bombshell revelation. The men in their family can time travel. Yes, really. All Tim has to do is find a dark place, close his eyes, clench his fists, and think of a specific moment he wants to revisit. Of course, there are rules. No changing history in any major way, and no, he can't go back and kill Hitler or shag Helen of Troy. Skeptical but curious, Tim gives it a shot, stepping into his wardrobe. A blink later, he's back at the New Year's Eve party. This time, he doesn't stumble into the table, and instead of a tragic handshake, he boldly kisses the blonde at midnight. Mission accomplished. He returns to the present, breathless with excitement. His father asks what he plans to do with this newfound power, and Tim, being the romantic dreamer he is, declares that he's going to use it to get a girlfriend. Summer arrives, bringing with it Charlotte, Kit Kat's stunningly beautiful and effortlessly cool friend. Tim is instantly smitten. He fumbles through an attempt to apply sunscreen to her back, making a complete mess of it before quickly time-traveling to redo the moment with more grace. Over the summer, he builds up the courage to confess his feelings to Charlotte on her last night, but she gently shuts him down, saying he should have asked sooner. Determined to rewrite history, he goes back a month and tries again. This time, she suggests waiting until her last night to see how she feels. And just like that, Tim realizes the harsh truth. No matter how many times he rewinds time, he can't make someone love him. Heartbroken, he lets Charlotte go. Tim moves to London to start his career as a lawyer, sharing a flat with Harry, a brilliantly rude but talented playwright. While adjusting to city life, he meets Rory, an endearingly nerdy coworker, and the two quickly become friends. One night, Jay drags Tim to a dining-in-the-dark restaurant where they are paired with blind dates. Tim is seated with Mary, a witty and charming American, and the two hit it off instantly, bonding over their shared love of Kate Moss. When the lights come back on, he sees her for the first time and is absolutely smitten. Before parting ways, he gets her phone number. But just when things seem to be going perfectly, Tim makes a huge mistake. Harry has a disastrous play premiere, and in an attempt to fix it, Tim time travels to help him. The play is saved, but in doing so, he erases his meeting with Mary. Panicked, he desperately tries to find her again, finally tracking her down at a Kate Moss exhibition with the help of Kit Kat. Unfortunately, in this version of reality, Mary has a boyfriend named Rupert. Not willing to accept defeat, Tim time travels to the night of Joanna's party, where Mary and Rupert first met, and makes sure she leaves with him instead. This time, they share their first date, a kiss, and a night together, all perfectly orchestrated by Tim's well-timed rewinds. Tim and Mary's relationship blossoms, filled with laughter, late-night conversations, and endless moments of love. When Mary's conservative parents visit, he fumbles their introduction by blurting out unnecessary details about their sex life, forcing him to time travel and fix his blunder. Eventually, he decides it's time to propose. His first attempt is disastrous. Mary is half asleep and doesn't register what's happening. Determined to get it right, he tries again, arranging a jazz band and a romantic setting. This time, she says yes. The wedding is an absolute disaster in the best way possible. It pours rain, guests slip in the mud, and chaos erupts, but it's perfect because it's theirs. Choosing his best man is a challenge. Rory is awkward, Harry is insulting, and Jay is wildly inappropriate. After multiple retries, Tim settles on his father, who delivers a heartfelt speech that leaves everyone teary-eyed. Life moves forward. Mary gives birth to their daughter Posy, and they settle into family life. But tragedy looms when Kit Kat, struggling with her reckless lifestyle, gets into a car accident after drinking. Tim, desperate to save her, takes her back in time to prevent her from ever dating Jimmy Kincaid. This alters the course of her life, but also erases Posy. Heartbroken, Tim realizes he has to let Kit Kat's struggles play out naturally while being there to support her in the present. Years pass, and Tim's father is diagnosed with terminal cancer. In an emotional revelation, Tim learns that his father has been using time travel to extend their moments together. Knowing their time is short, they spend as much of it as possible together, playing table tennis, reading, and sharing deep conversations. Before saying his final goodbye, Tim time travels one last time to a cherished childhood memory, walking along the beach with his father. As life continues, Mary suggests having a third child. Tim knows that once the child is born, he won't be able to travel back to see his father again. He spends his last moments with James before finally letting go. With their growing family, Tim realizes he no longer needs time travel. Instead, he chooses to embrace each day fully, just as his father taught him, to live life as if he had already gone back in time to appreciate it. The movie ends with Tim walking his children to school, savoring every single moment. No rewinds, no do-overs, just life, lived beautifully.